Okay. We are live. It is Monday. It is freezing in here. My incense went out. What is happening? My incense fish. He actually looks like he could hold like maybe one of the battery operated tea lights or something, or a smaller tea light. But I've been putting my incense in him. Okay.
Your beef and broccoli that's been gone for like 2 years.
Okay.
I thought you might want to have an alternative
Okay.
or not.
No, I mean I can make that tomorrow.
Okay.
Cause I already told her.
Well, she'll have a sandwich if it comes to it.
Alright, we'll go find out what she wants. If she'd rather have that or if she wants the soup. Alright, so it is Monday. I'm freezing. We got incense fish going. Sorry. Husband was telling me something he got from the store. This is where we left off last week, and we're gonna pick back up. I am so cold. It's like 62 in our room right now. They're not sure if we're just getting a cold rain or if we are getting um ice. They're still not sure. All right. Hmm?
Oh, I think I put my phone down somewhere.
Alright, so I'm gonna start in with our slightly bigger brush. And there's just a couple of spots that look a little thin on our black, so I might just touch those up as we go. So this is a bit of a longer process on this one. Now, I could have painted it black from the very beginning. You didn't leave it at the store, did you? He's looking for his phone. Might have fallen out of his pocket. But, we could have painted the whole thing black. Did you find it?
Not yet.
You didn't lose it at the store, did you?
I highly doubt it. I'd have to take it out of my pocket. There it is.
Okay. Well, I didn't know when you last had it. I mean, you had a list, so...
I had it on the...
Alright, sorry, we're really disorganized this morning. Been fighting a bit of a headache ever since I woke up. So, as I was saying, we could have painted the whole background black or did this on a black canvas to start with. We could have. But I would have had to have used a white chalk pencil to get everything swapped over. Like the design and everything transferred over. And sometimes that smears or rubs off, and then I have to end up touching up the background anyway. So it just seemed easier to just do it this way in the long run. Even if it is a bit more time consuming. When I was first waking up, my head was kind of hurting. I'm like, oh no, no. Because I had like a full 24-hour, maybe not full 24-hour, but close to a 24-hour incapacitation day. Where all I kind of did was just lay in bed and try to sleep. Migraine last week. And I was like, oh no. No, 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 no. I can't be having that today. We've got a stream today. I mean, it was good when it happened because it happened last Thursday. I was starting to get it Wednesday. I remember having to pause in the middle of stream because my neck was starting to bother me. And I took something and I'm like, hopefully this is the end of it. And it kind of backed off a little and then just kind of decided to slam into me real bad when I woke up Thursday morning. So I lost a day of working on the tissue paper project this week, which, you know, really, really mad about. Right? Because it's already going to take me so long to get through it. Right? To begin with. It looks like I did not finish outlining some of this last week. And, you know, I was running my mouth, so I wasn't really paying attention to where I was painting that well. I just kind of started in a space and just kind of took off from there. And this paint is kind of getting thick on me. So I think it's nearing the end of its lifespan. But I'm going to try to use as much of it as I can. So this is the old paint that I had, the old brand. And I have since switched over to a new brand of paint. Alright, so not only for Christmas did I refresh my paint, my paint stash, my acrylic paint stash. But I had to switch brands. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't really all that thrilled with the previous brand because most of the colors required like 5 coats almost. Say 4 to 6 coats for it to get looking like it's true bottle color. And that was kind of starting to annoy me. This section in there just looks thin. Like, I don't know why, but it just looks thinner. This incense cone and I today. Some days the incense cones and I get along great. I light it, we're good. Today's incense cone, though, seems to want to be a pain, unless it finished. Which I suppose is possible. But I didn't think it had been long enough for it to finish. But maybe I'm wrong. So I hope everybody's doing okay on this Monday. So yeah, I'm still having some thinner spots up here, and I don't understand why. It seems kind of silly. That we're having that. So I was using Anita's. I tend to use the cheaper craft paint for my budget. I like the flowy paints better. than the thick artist tubes of paint. Like the traditional artist tubes of paint. They also tend to dry a bit shinier. Now I know as time is going on, they're starting to have matte ones now. But I don't really have the budget for that at this point in time. So I am just gonna have to make do with this. So they stopped making Anita's. Anita's went away. In my research, it looked like Hobby Lobby bought them. Or bought Anita's parent company or whatever. Because I was really confused because I was seeing all these other paint companies when I was trying to purchase some paint. Or looking at how much it was going to be to start replacing some bottles slowly. And I'm like, why am I not finding my paint brand? Like, is this now an exclusive Hobby Lobby brand or what? Because I remembered us selling it at AC Moore back in the day. Like, it was Apple Barrel, and then Anita's kind of came onto the scene. And so when I was trying to find more of the Anita's paint, because the colors I had were getting glompy, it's the only way I can describe it. There was like gobs of dried paint forming in the bottles. Like what was trying to solidify, but it hadn't yet. Keep in mind, these bottles of paint that I had were a few years old. So, and no idea how long they had sat on the shelf either. But, kind of besides the point. So, I couldn't find it. I was actually getting mad. I'm like, why can I not find this anywhere? And then I couldn't even find it on Hobby Lobby's website. I'm like, what is happening? Like, this doesn't make any sense. So I did some digging and saw that, like, Hobby Lobby bought them or their company or their label, something. And now Hobby Lobby is manufacturing their own house label paint, like craft paint. I don't know if it's the same Anita's paint and they just stuck the Hobby Lobby labels on it, or if it's a different formula. I think it's a different thing altogether, because when I was trying to look at the consistency to see how watery the Hobby Lobby label was compared to how I had known the Anita's to be, you can't check. When I tried to open one of the paint lids, they had a seal on the top of the bottle. And I don't mean on the outside of the bottle. I mean, it was like, you know how like on medication there's that like foil seal or whatever, paper seal on the top of it after you open the lid? There was one of those. And I was like, I was like, now I can't even see how shitty you are for your price. So I was like, So I wasn't happy about that. But I was gonna get that because I could get more paint colors for the price. But I ended up going with Deco Art Americana. And while it's still a bit transparent, some of the colors more than others, it's been okay. And that, friends, right there is why I have that smaller brush to paint around these pieces, because my brush got a little silly there. So I'm just trying to use this brush in the larger opening areas where we need it. Oh, sorry, my head's like in the shot. I am that zoomed out, so apologies for my head popping in on the edge there. It's gonna happen. It's not like it's the first time y'all have seen my head. It's not like it's that mysterious. I don't post very many pictures of myself. And I'm not like super comfortable with my face being on camera. I've been seen on camera at times though, whether it's the top of my head or part of my face on the live streams here, but I've also been full face on camera when I was helping with the podcast from time to time for WoW challenges. And if I decided to start playing that again, I would probably consider going back to the show. But just really haven't had too much of a desire to go back and play it. Certainly not to the extent that I had been. One thing that's exciting, well, you might not find it exciting. It's exciting for us. Is maybe exciting is not the right word. Maybe curious and intriguing. We might be getting a Chinese food restaurant in town. That's kind of exciting. for this growing farming community. I know a lot of people are like, so who cares? We have a Sonic fast food place. We have two Mexican restaurants. One's, I believe, a family run smaller place, and another one, I don't know if it's a local chain. Like, I don't know how far out it stretches. I know there's one in the next town over with the same name. I don't know if that's just a secondary location of theirs, or if they're in other places as well. And then there's like the hot food bar at the gas station. Oh, and we have a Taco Bell now. And that's kind of it. There's been talk for a while about a McDonald's moving in. That talk started during COVID. Sorry, I had a little glumpy of paint in there. This color is some of the old Anita's paint that I had laying around still that I wanted to get used up here. Like, I've still got a couple of spots that look a little funny. I don't know if it's just the way the light's hitting them or if it's from when I was erasing around it. Which, I mean, that could be. But at this point, I think I'm just gonna roll with it. I did clean out my little paint cup here. And pulled out the bit of dried paint from last week. So I didn't have to worry about that getting weird and glumpy from the new stuff being wet and touching it. So like this Anita's, like, well, the craft paint in general, I guess. If you have some on like a dry on a plate, excuse me. And try to put, like, use it again, like you haven't cleaned the plate or whatever palette you are using. If you put the wet, fresh liquid paint on top of the dried splotches start to bubble and it will get wrinkly and pull up. And mix in with your fresh paint that you have put down on top of it. Not exactly an ideal situation there. So, try to, with this paint, pull up the dried stuff before I put any fresh down. So I like using these little cuppies if I'm just working on one solid color for a while. Because then I don't have a whole huge palette to clean. I'm so bad about cleaning palettes. I'm going to do a quick maintenance rinse here. I hate cleaning palettes so much. With this paint, once it dries, I can usually just peel it off if it's thick enough. If it's not, I'll like spray it with some water. And then I will let it sit for a bit. And then come back like maybe 10, 20 minutes later after the water has sat on it. And just kind of scrape it off. But that's why I have so many dirty palettes, because I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, you've been saving them?
Yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you hadn't seen you cleaning them off recently.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass. But my gouache palette, I try not to clean that if I can help it, because that can just be reactivated with water. So as long as that's dry, I can just put that away. And save that until next time. So I'm not sure what we're doing when we're done with this one. I might pull out the stencils for inspiration and see what we got. I'm using this bigger brush to do the lining around this section. So I need to be a bit more steady-handed and slower. Because my hand likes to get crazy wobbly at times and shaky. So I'm just trying to carefully pick our way along here. I can't wait till we get to the gel pen stage of this. That is going to be a fun time. Now, if we weren't streaming this, I would have done this by now. I would have just worked on it till I was done. Wouldn't have taken as long. But because we're streaming it, that's why we've got so many parts. On this guy. The stream's only so long, like I would have probably put in a couple full days on this guy. And we would have been good. So all of the lights are kicking up a bit of a glare on this for me as it's wet. So I do have to keep moving around a little bit or put my hand in just a position where it's creating a shadow so I can see what I'm doing. So that's why I'm kind of going back and looking at some of these spots. I'm like, oh, what did I do here? Now I will say this brush I'm enjoying a little bit more than that other fine point brush. Because this one's actually turning well. The other one doesn't like to change direction. The other one's a little... It doesn't feel plasticky until you go to turn a corner or go around like an edge of something. When you're doing straight lines, it's fine. But there's times where I'm trying to line something and it doesn't want to turn, and then all the bristles kind of fan out, and I'm like, what just happened? Maybe that's me and my brush pressure. Could be it. Could be operator error. I'm not going to say it's not. But it is a synthetic brush. I prefer the synthetics. I like the snap and the bounciness of the synthetics. I don't like the limp ragdoll feeling of some of the old school natural hair. Or at least the cheap ones, put it that way. But there are times with that other tiny liner brush. You know how there would be cheap watercolor paints? And sometimes, well, Crayola started doing the more natural hairs at one point on some of their kits. But there's other paintbrushes out there for like little kids and stuff. And I think there's even just packs of them where like the handles are cheap, bendy plastic, and the bristles look like this black. And they feel like plastic. And they're real scratchy and stuff. This one doesn't feel scratchy, but they have a sound. Those other cheap-ass kids paintbrushes that sometimes come in kits and stuff, they have this sound when they're going across certain surfaces that just sounds like scritchy, kind of like a palette knife. I've gotten this brush to do that a couple of times, but it doesn't feel scritchy, like the sound isn't traveling up the brush. I know that sounds bizarre, but kind of think like the palette knife for Bob. How it makes that scrapey noise. And if you're like sensitive to sounds, you can almost feel it traveling from the palette knife up your arm to your ear. Sorry, I had a couple extra thinner spots there that I didn't want to be quite that patchy. And if I'm painting the same spot over and over again, I'm sorry, it's hard to tell how many times I've gone over a spot with this color. But this other little brush will sound like it. It doesn't look like it, but it will definitely sound like it. And it'll feel like it. So I really don't like this other brush very much. Okay, I need to move my pen. I love my sparkly pen, but I only love it when I want to look at it and play with it. When I'm trying to do something else, the little blips of color are catching the edge of my frames, and I can see them like on the edge, and I'm like, what are these flashes of light? I'm like, oh, right. And it just gets distracting. I might need to go get that other brush here. Maybe. See how this one nicely turns around our little piece here? That other brush does not do that. It like fans out and separates whenever I try to do that. And it was sold in a packaged sleeve, so I couldn't really touch the bristles. To see if that's what I wanted. I keep putting so many brush sets on my brush wish list because I'm still trying to find that one super awesome fine liner that just makes me want to scream, yes, this is it. This is my guy. This is going to be my go-to. My problem might simply be is that I'm just getting cheap brushes. But it's hard to visualize what it's gonna be on a website from when it's in your hands. And I need like a really super thin liner brush. Because a lot of our stuff is tiny. So we need to work a bit smaller. So the smaller, the better usually for me as far as liner brushes go. So Zuzu started being weird yesterday. We don't know if it's just a territory shift with the cats again. They will just randomly decide to start sleeping in different areas than what they had been. And we don't know if they encroached on his area and now he's mad, or if something else is being weird and he's not wanting to be that far away. Because it's pretty chilly in here and he tends to prefer my mom's room because it's warmer. Not sure where he is right now. Oh yeah, he's still in here. He's in... I can't tell if he's in Russell's coat or if he's in Russell's blanket. But he seems to have ensconced himself on the bed. Definitely on Russell's side of the bed. Okay, I'm gonna flip this guy up a little bit here so we can see what it is that I am doing on this edge here. Alright. So this edge I can be a little more... Well, sloppy's not really the word, but I don't have to be as careful on the side edge because we've got nothing that we're really trying to outline. I'm just trying to get it colored. Okay. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to go back and paint the very back of this yet. Like where the staples are going to be. Sorry, my hand kind of lowered that further than it should have been. Promise, I am trying to keep it in frame. But if I zoom out any further, the ledge that the monitors are all sitting on is going to pop in. And then there's this big shadow that covers just under the edge of where the shelf is. Felt so bad I didn't like get hardly any editing done last night. I started to, and then I was like, I want to hop back into Palia and see how I feel about stuff. Although I'm kind of confused in it at the moment. Because they keep telling me I need to go to some skill shop to pick up a blueprint from somebody, but I can't find a shop that's called Skill Shop on the map. And I found the guy that I needed to talk to on the road, but he didn't give me the thing that I needed. I was like, okay. And I don't know. Like, will he only give it to me if he's in the shop? Like, I am so confused. So I might have to look some stuff up here. Because nothing's making sense in regards to this item that they want me to pick up. And it was being a little buggy with me last night, unless I was doing something wrong. Which, you know, possible. Like, it wasn't letting me change tools. It did say beta on the load-in screen. So it just could be a bug that I'm not aware of. Possible. You guys can see where I'm at, right? Yeah. Like, I was trying to learn their fishing system last night. It felt a little awkward at first, but I kind of get it after doing a little bit of fishing. Though I kept trying to lean my body in that direction instead of move the mouse, so that was something I kind of had to keep telling myself not to do. Because, like, their fishing system is, like, you have to wait until there's been like 3 tugs on your fishing line, and then on the 4th tug, you like, I guess, click to get the thing. And then these like parentheses, that's the only way I can describe it, show up on the water. And you have to try to move the mouse side to side to stay within these parentheses, or your fishing rod starts to take damage. Or your fishing line starts to take damage or something. Maybe it's the line. I thought it said rod in the little side tutorial, but it was a little tricky at first while you're like hitting the button to reel your fish in, so it did take a little bit of coordinating. But I think I kind of have the hang of that now. But I was having problem with swapping my tools. Like, I was opening the tool wheel and I was trying to select the thing I needed, but it kept just going back to the thing I had in my hand or to begin with, and I'm like, no, I needed to switch it. And like the only way I was able to grab anything was if I walked towards the town and I had a little load screen pop up and it had removed what I was holding. So I don't know if I'm just not doing something right or what. Because I do have a little bit of a learning curve. Plus, I was trying to rebind what I could for it to be more intuitive and make more sense for me. So I don't know if it's just like one of my keybinds not being happy or what. So I might have to do a little bit more digging through Google. Let's see what I can find. Like, I'm not super attached to it yet. I'm still kind of in the overwhelmed and frustrated, but I'm trying to figure this out stage. But we'll see how long that lasts. So our rain is supposed to start later this afternoon now. They were originally saying around noon, and then they pushed it back further. And then they weren't sure if it was going to be snow or ice or everything and in between. But now they're saying that we could see some freezing rain accumulation overnight in the higher elevations. But they didn't expect a whole lot everywhere. It was just kind of spotty. So we'll have to see how this pans out. Because I don't know what elevation they're determining to be a higher elevation. Because we're already elevated. Like, what do you mean? Are you talking like people up actually on the side of the mountains? Like, I'm confused. Like, there could be some light ice accumulation, but the ground temperature is kind of warm. But then I saw another weather report for the area that one of the weather models had us in snow on Thursday, so I don't know what in the fresh hell is going on. We tried to do an extra grocery run for my mom and little odds and ends that we think we might run out of over the next couple of days, just in case things get shitty. And we don't or can't be out in the car. Like, if we don't want to be out in the car, or if it's like, no, nobody's going anywhere. I'm just hoping we don't get snow on top of freezing rain and sleet, because we had that happen one year, and that was awful. That was so much worse than if we had just gotten the snow. Because everything was freezing to the ground the second it was hitting it. So it wasn't just that there wasn't any traction in the snow to try to get out of our driveway. There was ice underneath of it that was not melting. And we could not, like, our driveway is not that steep, and we could not get out. We tried kitty litter. We were trying cardboard. We were trying just about everything under the sun. Could not get out of the driveway. Like, other people were on the road, they were getting out of their driveways. There was just enough ice. And our driveway wasn't paved on that side either. It was like some gravel and dirt. We weren't going nowhere. I was like, right. I think we have a problem. Okay, I think I'm gonna do another little maintenance rinse, excuse me. So far, it kind of seems like the glue is still holding. It's not like massively leaking water anywhere. Definitely want to dry that ferrule. To ensure that we don't have any. I feel like I already put paint down here. Twice now. Could be the old pencil. That I'm seeing shining through the black. That I didn't get all of it off. That could be a possibility. Or it could just be shitty paint coverage. That is also a possibility. So I'm trying not to cause any sharp points here. That is easier said than done. A lot easier said than done. For me, at least. So I didn't put a whole lot of paint in our little cup here, because I didn't want it drying out on me. And then having to put more in, and then have that be weird. And clumpy because the dry stuff was basically interacting with the wet stuff. But it is starting to dry in there, but we have used a fair bit as well. Like on this rounded edge, I'm kind of letting the paintbrush scrape over it, just so it's like pulling out as much of that paint. as it wants to hold on to there. I want to make sure I get the crevice there where my canvas is folded pretty good, just in case somebody doesn't want to frame it. Because, you know, not everybody likes frames, not everybody can afford frames. Fair amount of the stuff I have kept is not framed. Though I saw one frame that doesn't come with glass. It's like just the outside pieces of the frame that you screw together around the piece. I'd kind of forgotten that those existed. So the next time we are out and about and I have something that I do want to keep enough to frame it, I'll probably try one of those contraptions. Okay, so again, once we get all of these white spaces painted black, I'm going to come back in with a white gel pen and we're gonna start putting some outlines in. I don't know if I'm outlining the whole thing. I probably will. We'll see though. I'm gonna at least outline the dragonfly and then go from there. And see how I feel about how things are setting up. And then we'll make decisions from there on what we're gonna do. We might add some doodles on top of some of these colors. We're just gonna kind of see what the mood strikes us. How we want to journey along with this guy. It'll be fine. Alright. You okay? I have to stop looking on Realtor.com. I keep finding all of these houses and I'm like, oh, I like you. I like you very much. Like, there's one I absolutely fell in love with again. A different one. Didn't need very much work, but it was kind of out of our budget, so I was sad. I was like, why did I even look at you? Why? Okay. So this one's definitely going to be a spray seal, because I found with the brush-on sealer, the gel pen gets real mad. If I had a really super fine point white, like micron or something, and I don't think that exists, or like a really fine point white paint pen, I might be able to get away with using one of those, and then I could probably do a brush-on sealer. But not with the gel pen, because I tested it and it did not go well. Because as soon as the sealer brush went over it, it started to smear, and I was like, no! But I need to do a test with Mod Podge, excuse me. I keep trying to call it something it's not. I keep adding extra letters to mod. It's MOD, not MODG. Anyhow, I need to like glue a couple extra scraps of tissue paper to like a scrap something. I'll probably take a scrap piece of wood that I've got here, just a little piece. And after the initial bits are dry, Put some Mod Podge on it. Mod Podge. There I go again. And, let that cure. Make sure that's really good and dry. And then after like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, do a spray sealer on top of it to make sure that the Mod Podge has in fact dried. Just see what's gonna do. Cheap viewers on. Why are you like possible ban evader? Like, just, it's the same shit. It's the same shit they're always posting. I don't understand how that's a possible ban evade. Because they've got a funny accent under one of the letters. You know what the hell they're saying, Automod. Like, why do we even have to pretend that this is not what it is? I'm beginning to think all of the reports I do just lump them into a thing where, okay, now we have to monitor this and see how many more times they do it. How old is this account, anyway? This account was created on the 6th, 4 days ago. Husband's almost done my be right back screen. There's just one last thing I wanted him to do for it. I just wanted him to kind of outline everything. Just to make it pop. It's super cute. And chaotic. It kind of sums up how I feel when shit's going wrong. Just the blank, "You've got to be kidding me" stare. On the flamingo. Of just what now? It's great. He posted a preview of it. On his Blue Sky, which is Mr. Bright 01. 01, excuse me. Mr. Bright 01. Just one last thing I want him to do to it. There was 2 things, but he said the other thing's there. You just can't see it because the background it's currently on is black. He's like, I don't know if she wants a background color or if she's just gonna do it transparent. And he goes, personally, I would leave it transparent. I was like, yeah, I'm fine with it being transparent. That's fine. I don't care about that. I was like, but can we do like like the ringy, bring little like cartoony lines coming off of the phone. And the kitchen timer going off. He goes, oh no, they're there already. You just can't tell because of the background. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, now, if I don't go with the background color, do you think you would terribly mind? Possibly. Outlining all of this so it pops a bit more from whatever might be on the screen behind it. So it might be a couple more days or a month before he can get around to finishing that up. Kind of depends. It's taken me a while to get it to this stage of completion. Be like, hey, do you think you'll have time to work on this today? I would be oh so grateful. And then he was like not sure what he was gonna do the other day, and I'm like, he's like, I tried to do some pixel art and I went terribly, terribly wrong. He's like, I don't think I can brain enough for that today. I was like, don't forget that you were in the middle of putting finishing touches on my Be Right Back screen. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I can probably work on that today. I was like, oh good. But he's been kind of having a rough go of it lately with the anxiety and the depression. Because he didn't even message me directly on Discord to be like, hey, this is where I'm at. He had just only posted it on Blue Sky saying that he needed to ask me about final touches. I'm like, how was I supposed to know about final touches if you didn't tell me about needing final touches? Like, I don't always see your posts. It's more of a me, though. Me issue. Okay. I am going to turn this guy. We're almost done this half, right? Just looks like a completely different piece here. With the with the black paint. Instead of the white. So, I mean, don't be afraid to experiment with different background colors. I mean, I could have tried to see what a dark gray would have looked like. I would start out with maybe smaller sample stuff, like maybe in a sketchbook or something, with different color schemes to see which ones you like before you get to like this stage of the game and then start playing with colors. Just so you don't have quite so much to rework if you aren't loving that color combo. Just to try to save you some time. Okay. Probably gonna need to add a bit more paint to my cup here soon. We'll see though. There we go. Kind of messed up that edge there. That's okay. We fixed it. So tomorrow, we'll be working on some more on our fourth magnet. And again, don't know if we'll be finished tomorrow. We will see. Of course, we will see if we have stream tomorrow. I hope I'm not entering a migraine cycle, because that's gonna suck so bad if I am. I've been doing pretty good with it lately. There would just be like some minor things. Minor backgroundy ones that I could still kind of function through. As long as we don't have another one quite so soon after like last Thursday's, then we'll be doing pretty good. Okay, so you can still kind of see the pencil line. It's not probably all that visible on the camera, but like up close you can kind of see it. But we're gonna put the outline in around it. And then at that point it shouldn't really be quite so noticeable. Don't know if you can hear our wind chimes outside. Might not, blah 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 blah. Might not be able to. But it's pretty windy again today. So this does go a little bit faster. A little bit. Not a ton, but a little when I can use this slightly bigger brush. I still have to be careful, like we just can't dive in here with no regard. Like we can't be too careless. Okay. I actually managed to use quite a good amount. Of this black that we put in the cup here so far. So that's actually pretty great. Okay, give me one moment. I will be right back. I should have timed this better, but I need to go to the bathroom. So now would be a good time to go stand up, stretch, all that stuff. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. When you got a potty, right? Okay. Just a little itty bitty touch ups here and there as we go. It could just be me being nitpicky. But I also have the other mindset of I'd rather fix it now if it's bothering me now. Because if I leave it and finish, it's more than likely still going to bother me when I'm done. Kind of situation. And my incense had gone out. It hadn't actually finished. I was like, let me check this before I sit down. I was like, you little stinker. But sometimes you just get cones that are a little more stubborn about staying lit at times, or at least I do. Okay. So what's everybody up to today? Trying to just slog through some work. Doing any crafting, painting. Fill in the blank of your choice. I did get through the first live stream of episode 10, though. So I did finish that. I'm on the second live stream. For editing that sort of time lapse together. I have to get some more tissue paper twisted tonight. While I'm editing. Trying to make sure I've got enough of this one shade of blue before I get some more of this lighter shade of blue put together. Because I wasn't sure how much I was going to need of it, you know? So then I thought I had enough. And then I was like, oh, maybe I don't have enough of this. And then looking at what I had left already twisted and how much further I still had to go with it, I was like, oh, you know what? No. No. This is not enough. And I'd rather have a little more left over than run out while I'm working on the color. It's not like it's a huge pain in the ass to twist the paper. It's just that it slows me down. And for a project this big, I'm trying to get that pre-twisted because I learned that when I first started working on it, like day one. I was sitting there twisting paper. I was like, oh, this is going to take forever doing it this way. So then I had to teach my left hand. And it's still kind of clumsy at it, but it's learning. Where I can twist the tissue paper with my left hand while I'm editing video with my right hand. Otherwise, I can't do both at once. And then editing would just completely stop while I'm doing prep. Now, I know I was originally saying we'd probably see some of those tissue paper project videos starting in February. I think I might just wait till I'm done before I start editing those together. I'd really like to get these other two larger video edits done with. Before my... Oh, look, let's work on this takes over. Because I still am in the middle of Bear and Breakfast. We haven't finished the game content that's out yet. We're getting closer, but I also need to record some more of that. We're getting into a real heavy grinding part of that, where I kind of need to carefully move through what I've got going on now with that. So I have to get a certain amount of coins available for a quest. Which is a little bit more difficult than it sounds when I am paying staff to do things to save me some time and aggravation. But I really don't feel like running between 4 different properties. Constantly checking for trash. Although the one place isn't so bad. The guests that I have in the tiny shed don't seem to throw too much trash around. But a couple of the other properties, it's almost constant. And I've got somebody else doing cooking for the properties. Now, she's expensive. But with how fast these people tend to eat, she's definitely needed. Like, when it was just one property, it was like, okay. But now we're feeding, like, 2 or 3 different properties and multiple food stations and stuff, so it's just easier. Especially now that we have the furnace room. He's expensive, but I can totally see that something I forget to go do. Why are you all complaining it's cold? Oh. What are these bad reviews for the temperature in the rooms for? What is happening? Oh, hey, Zach. So thank you. The whole thing is going to have the black painted into the background. We're just slowly working our way through it. Trying to be careful that my hand doesn't jitter or shake. So it does take a little bit of time. And when we're done putting the black paint in the background, we are going to come back with a white gel pen and do some outlining, at least on the dragonfly itself. We might do all of it, but I want to see how it looks with just the dragonfly outlined, and then maybe these guys in the bottom corner, and then I'll kind of see how I feel about the rest of the background, because I don't want to overdo it, but it might need it. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the dragonfly design itself, we took from a coloring book page. From, hang on, what's her name again? I have the book here. Millie, Millie Marotta. She has like one of these like adult coloring book things. And she's got a whole bunch of designs in here. The dragonfly was here. So we enlarged that a little bit and transferred it onto there. And we're gonna slowly get our background put in. Looks meticulous. You'd admire your resolve to do the background last. Well, I have a little bit of experience with doing the background last. So, yeah, funny story. I did one for the husband, using the crab from this coloring book. So, let's see if I can find it. It's towards the back here. This guy. So, this crab one might be a little hard to see. I scanned this page and enlarged it so that one of the crabs would fill, or almost fill, an 8x10 canvas. And that one I had, it was, hang on, I don't know if it was a black canvas to start with. Let me see. Oh, I painted it. So I had painted it black. And transferred the design over with a white chalk pencil. And hang on, I need my lap blanket here. It's cold in here today. I need to get my blankie. It's like 62, 64 in our room. It's freezing. So, I transferred it with white chalk pencil. And as I was going, the chalk was kind of rubbing off, which I expected in some spots. And then it was like smudging the black that I already done. So I was like, crap. So then after I was finished, I had to go back and retouch up the background again. So I'm like, you know what? We're just going to do it at the end. Save myself the trouble. If I'm going to have to touch it up anyway. And with how intricate this one was, like this one was a lot busier than this guy. But this was the husband's Christmas present. Or one of them. But I like the black background, because I feel like it makes the other colors pop. Because these look like two very different... They have two very different feelings to them. Like, between, you know, the... I don't have a piece of paper. I have this, though. So, like, between this side, right? We cover up all the white. And then if we kind of cover up all the black. They look very different. They have very different feels to them. But so like this guy, we outlined him white. It's the white gel pen in there. I'd love to find a super fine white paint marker. I'm sure they exist, but I just haven't really thought to look for one when I had the funds to get one. So we will be using the gel pen, and then we'll do a spray sealer instead of a brush-on sealer when we're all done. I've got 2 different sized paint brushes here that I'm using. You're used to painting a black base coat sometimes? Yeah, I mean, sometimes it makes things work a little bit better. I'm not saying I would do that for all of them, but for these ones, yeah, why not? I kind of like doing the stained glass mosaic feel paintings to them. That's what the black makes me feel like. It feels more like a stained glass piece. I mean, there's some ones, depending on your color palette choice, where maybe a dark gray would look better, or maybe like a tan might work better. Also, you have to think about where it's going and stuff, and so you don't paint as much as you used to. Recently, it's mostly mixed media collage. Cannot speak today. There's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. I'm actually working on a couple different projects right now. At the moment, on my non-stream days, I am trying to work on this is 11 by 14, by the way. I am working on a 36 by 48 canvas currently. Off stream. I am recording it, but it's going to be a while before I can get that video edited. And I am doing a sunset with tissue paper. So I painted in like a real sloppy base coat, right? Kind of like a color key, so I kind of had an idea of where I wanted my different colors to go. And then I bought a whole bunch of tissue paper as part of my Christmas present and chopped it down into little squares. And then said little squares, because I'm neurotic, I take and I twist them into little tiny strings, basically, so that they're kind of about that size. And then I take tacky glue and glue these in to where they belong on the sunset painting. I've been posting photo updates of that on my Blue Sky account. But the thing's really hard for me to get a picture of, so the picture's slightly distorted. Let me see here. If I can grab the last photo of that here. Tissue paper. Okay, but what date were you taking? It's not telling me the date. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this is probably the most recent one. So 36 by 40. Nope. That's not what I wanted to. touch. No, no, this one. Thank you. So all of that is, I don't have a real close-up of it. So all that is tissue paper, little paper twists. So it's gonna take a while to get through it. But it's what I'm, oh wait, no, this isn't the most recent one, because I had the dark blue tissue paper in there. Well, where's my most recent photo? Hold on, that makes me mad now. Where is it? These are not in order. Is it this one? No. No, that's not it. Where the heck? Can you show me the dates, please? Extra large icons. What's this? This one? No. Oh, this is infuriating. It's not, got them listed in my project folder. This is it. Okay. So I was gonna say I was further along than that. So I'm working on this dark blue at the moment. This, not the dark blue, but this like mid blue. And then I'll be working on a lighter shade of blue and like a cerulean. I keep wanting to call the color chlorine and it's not. It's not spelled anywhere near chlorine. Cerulean blue has to go in here too, and then I'll start working on the oranges and stuff. These are going to be palm trees. I didn't bother putting in the tops of them yet because it's going to lay over top of the background. So, but that is off center there. I touched something I shouldn't have. Dang it. Okay. There's like an outline to the thing on there on my screen. But you know, mixed media is fun too. And there's nothing wrong with working on that. Sometimes you gotta hop around to what feels right. And sometimes you need to kind of experiment. And play around with different mediums. So we also do needle felting. We'll be doing that tomorrow. So I wasn't sure if I should do like see one project through at a time or if we should just do different stuff on the different days because it'll still take a while to get through everything. Just had some thin spots here I just want to touch up in the background. This paint is a bit thicker than I would like it to be though. But I kind of knew that might be an issue. Starting this background with this particular black paint. It's one of my older bottles. But feel free to follow on the blue sky. I'm always dig looking at what everybody's working on. Never know if you might get inspiration for something of your own that you're doing. But yeah, I think we'll pop out the stencils when we're done with this guy entirely and see what inspiration we can get with those. See what I can get made for farmers market giveaway. We might add the magnets to the giveaway. I don't know if I want to try to sell those or not. We might just do another giveaway and tip jar at some point for this next farmers market this year. We did okay on the last one. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff. I had a fair bit. I had some Bob Ross painted magnets. But we'll have our needle felted magnets that we're working on. We'll be back to working on those tomorrow. Or the current one, at least. Like I said, no guarantee that we'll finish those in 2 sessions. But you never know. So far, the first 3 tutorials that we were following along with, we've managed to complete in 2 live stream sessions. So we'll see. We'll see. So I'm trying to keep my rounded edges here on my background shapes. As much as I can, because there's not really any super harsh points in the base design of our dragonfly friend here. So we want to try to keep up with that. Gonna have to be a little bit careful in making sure that we try to keep our background shapes rounded as we are painting the background in around them. I mean, sometimes it's going to be a little tricky to keep that going. So we stream art 2 days a week on Monday and Tuesday. And then Sunday and Thursday, we're doing some kind of game. We're currently working on Coral Island and Planet Zoo. Coral Island, we are kind of down to the end game stage. Trying to wrap up all of the remaining quests we have with that. And I'm trying to tick off certain achievements over there, although that's kind of been a little bit tricky. So once we get all of that sorted, we'll have to figure out what game we're gonna bounce over to. It might be Sugar Dew Island if it actually comes out next month. I don't know how far we are from completing the end game stuff that's in Coral Island at the moment. Like that, I just don't know. I'm trying to hand out some gifts when we were playing on Sunday. So I can try to finish getting people's friendship levels up. I'm really bad about remembering to check the bulletin board, which is like little mini side quests for people that can give you friendship points with them. I swear there's certain spots on here that just look strange. But that might have been from when I was erasing what we did previously, so I didn't like it. Or it could just be extra graphite smears that I didn't get removed. Okay. So I am going to tilt this guy up. And fill in our edge here. Or start to. So since these will probably be going to, well, I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm keeping this one yet. If I don't end up keeping it, it might end up in the farmer's market art giveaway, in which case I probably won't be framing it. because I won't get anywhere near a tip to cover the cost of the frame. Hell, I'm just glad if I get $1. We had the Etsy shop for a while, but we weren't really selling all that much. We have a few sales here and there, and that was fun. And everybody really liked the stuff that they got. Didn't have any issues or anything, but I wasn't making enough to justify all of the fees that I have to pay every month over there. I was losing money big time. Like, oh, just put my hand in the paint. Good job. Like, I seriously was losing so much money on posting fees over there. It was ridiculous. And then when they started the third party stuff with verifying bank accounts, and I did not feel comfortable using that third party because it looked like every month they were trying to verify your bank account, and then they wanted like passwords to your bank account, and I'm like, no, 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 no. What you're not getting is that. It just got a little much, and I'm like, yeah, no. That's okay. If I actually had a booming business going on there, it would be something different. But it was only like a sale here and there, so I was like, yeah, that's okay. I was not comfortable with the amounts of information they wanted, and then some people were like, well, I went in and changed my password right after I gave it to them, and then like the following month they put my shop on hold and wouldn't give me my money until they verified my bank account again. And I'm like, wait, why are they in there all up in your business financially every single month? Like, they've already verified the account. Why do they have to be in there again? That just didn't sit right with me. So I'm like, no. No, what we're not doing is that. Now there's like handmade shop through Michael's that we could try to do. There's like handmade through Amazon that we could try to do. I could just go back to eBay. So I was on eBay for a while, and then Etsy sort of, I thought, made more sense, and it turned out no. No, it didn't. Okay, so we're gonna switch brushes here. Go back to the tiny brush. since we need to get these edges here. See, this is why I'm not a fan of this brush. It's got this one bristle that wants to pull away. Actually, all of them are trying to separate now. Which does not make me happy. Like, I'm not real thrilled with this brush, but I don't have a whole lot of choice because I've gone through a couple tiny brushes that I just was not happy with. This just looks splotchy. I don't know why it looks splotchy. Like, overall it doesn't, but then when I get, like, real up close, it does. Could just me being nitpicky. Now, if I had kept the background white, I probably would have outlined everything in black, but there's just something about the black background. Just completely changes the mood in a good way for me. I might change this brush again. I'm just not. It's not making me happy. Let's see if I can reach this without getting up. Let's. Oh, you're upside down. See what we got in here. It looks like it might. Maybe. Oh, I didn't know you were in there. I was wondering where you went. Sometimes, though, this one can have a hook on the end of it. You okay?
Uh-huh.
Was that noise you a minute ago?
Yeah.
Okay, because Ed got sick while you were gone.
Gone where?
At the store.
Oh. It's like shedding or something.
It didn't look like a hairball. But I had to get it because of where it was. Let's see if this one behaves a little bit better for me. See, this one actually goes around the curves and stuff. That other one was becoming a bit of a problem with how it was behaving. Going around the edges of the shapes here. Okay. So again, we have to go kind of slow in here. Just so my hand doesn't do anything silly. Like it likes to do. I mean, honestly, I probably should have watered this down just a little bit. Not quite to like dot paint consistency, but and I might have been able to get a little bit closer with the other brush, but I was a little nervous that we were gonna accidentally tag something that we shouldn't with that other brush. So here we are. Okay. This, I think, was actually the brush I think I wanted from the beginning over here that I couldn't find. Not realizing I put it with those other brushes. I think I was putting it in there so I didn't lose it. And then I promptly lost it. Well, my brain lost track of it, put it that way. I guess technically we didn't lose it. Okay. So we are gonna just work our way back up the body here. We don't make too much of a squiggly mess. Right? Because we need to get into some really tiny spots here. Cleaning up our edges to a degree. So if the one side of this guy looks slightly off, when I was transferring it over, I thought I had the paper taped down securely. Apparently, the tape laughed in my face and shifted, and I didn't notice it had shifted at first. And then I was trying to reposition it, and I was like, oh no. So part of the one section might seem a little different, a little askew. That's why. Because I done had an accident with our transfer process. And the transfer process I did off stream just because I knew it was going to be a little bit tedious with this particular intricate pattern. And I didn't want to subject anyone to me transferring that over, because that would have been a nightmare. Because not only did I transfer it over, but then realized that my transfer wasn't very dark. And I couldn't see it very well. And was like, oh no. If I can't see it hardly at all in some spots, and we haven't even started to paint, what is going to happen after we are like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, and what is here, my hand has decided to smudge. So then I had to go back and redo all of the lines, like go over them again, to ensure that I could see what the heck I was trying to do. It was a whole thing and a half. And took me a couple of hours just to transfer it. So I was like getting ready for bed. I was like, oh, you know what? This will take maybe a half an hour. We're good. No, no. I think it ended up taking me like 2 hours to get the transfer to where I was happy with it. And I couldn't stop, go to bed, and come back to it the next day because I was in the middle of transferring it. And if my transfer slipped overnight, I was gonna have a world of problems the next day. But the joke was on me because it slipped anyway while I was mid transferring. Now this will be easier when we have the gel pen to come in and work around all of our edges here. So right now I'm just kind of trying to add a little bit of a border. Where's that darn fly again? Around the center of the body here, just so that my other brush doesn't get a little too carried away when I come back in with it. Because that would not be a good time. Honestly, that would be a horrible time. Of trying to fix all kinds of problems. I was gonna say we're almost done, like the worst part, but we still have that in there. But even so, this is like super tiny in here. Oh gosh, I didn't realize it was that late already. This afternoon has just kind of flown by here. I was like, oh, we're making good time today. And then I look at the clock. Oh, no. We might not be making as good of time as I thought. I mean, we did get this other section done. So, I mean, that is something. But sometimes when you're trying to be careful, the process will slow down a little bit, depending on the level of careful you are needing to be. Okay. So I am going to rinse this brush out. At least I can still use my broken mug for painting purposes, I suppose. I didn't even realize that the writing on it was starting to come off. I've only hand washed that thing too, so I was kind of mad about that, but it was still a good drinky size mug for my hot chocolate until it shattered. Ow. Desk meet elbow, elbow meet desk. They're actually very good acquaintances by now, but they keep forgetting. That they are such good friends. Alright, so I'm just gonna work on getting this edge here. Popped in. So that way it can be drying. While I'm working on the top. Then it lets me kind of just have at it here. Gives me a moment of not being super steady-handed. Man, first supposed to be raining this afternoon. It's awful bright out. It was just like dark and gloomy and gross out for several days. And today we're supposed to have weather coming in, or later this afternoon. And it's been the sunniest day we've had. In probably a week. crazy. So I'm still not sure if I'm going to paint the very, very back. On this one. I don't know. I might not. Because, I mean, that's going to be the side that's up against the wall. So it's not like it's going to matter, right? Okay. Alright, so this was our slightly thicker brush. And like this brush is okay. I'm not sure if I should swap background brushes at this point. Like the little fine brush around the intricate bits. Swapping that, whatever. That's going to be such a small, minor thing. I don't even know if that was even really going to be noticeable. I have no idea what these large, loud noises are going past our house. I think they're trash trucks. It's either like a trash truck or a dump truck. Okay. Get this. So yeah, we do have to be careful. Like, I'm okay if it squiggles a little bit, wobbles a little bit into these larger pieces, because we still have a little bit of real estate on them where I can fix it. Right? But the tiny ones, that's why we need that little brush. Although even then, there's no guarantee that my hand's gonna suddenly, like, zig and zag. And be like, uh-oh. That's a problem. But So far, I've only done that a couple of times on this piece. So that's promising that I haven't gotten totally crazy with my hand. Kind of want a different brush, but at this point, I don't want the background coverage to change and be different from the other side. So maybe we just kind of keep rolling with this guy. There might be sirens going by in a minute. I kind of faintly heard them for a second. So they might have gone a different way. So there is traffic noise at times. We live on pretty much the main road that goes through our town. So we get a fair amount of traffic on this road. This house is not very soundproof. And we the road is like 10 feet. 15 at the most from our front door. So not a whole lot we can do about that. I do have a couple filters going on this mic that seem to be helping now. Just keeping that to a little bit more of a minimum. But not a whole lot I can do. Our ceilings are tall in this particular room, so it really wouldn't do much for me to try to get the little soundproofy squares. If the ceiling was a little bit lower, then it might be a little bit easier. And I'm sure that I could attempt to fashion a fake drop ceiling with like some foam board and stuff, but at that point, I don't know how heavy the foam board would get, if the hooks that I'd put in it to hang it from the ceiling with the soundproofy tiles on it would just rip right out of it. So, trust me, we've thought about it. But at this point in time, we're just gonna do it without. So we're just kind of slowly making our way through this. Oop, come back here, wire sculpture. A few wire sculptures from Oh gosh. I don't know what he calls this business. I just call him the wire guy. Um, his name is Ryan. Is it the wire company? Not sponsored in any way. We just love the stuff that he does. We tend to get custom stuff from him whenever we're in Key West. His prices seem pretty fair. We didn't get a custom one when we were there in October. Well, September, October. Because we had just gotten one in February. Because we usually like just get the date and our names and stuff. But we had gotten one in February, so we really didn't think we needed to get another one custom. So I just picked up a little like dangly one. And I think a flower. So this was one of the custom ones that we got back in, oh, complete with Dust Bunny. Back in 2018, I had a hand puppet that I made out of a sock that I had taken with us that we were taking photos with down there. And he made a custom one with like a hand that would be in the sock. And then that's kind of what the puppet looked like with its crazy Muppet head. And he put the date on it. I've got other ones too. I've got a flamingo. He made me like a little whirligig flamingo one. It was the first time he tried making something like that. He had a couple other ones that would like move in the wind. Small ones. We always try to get something from him. We were disappointed because the one, like the first day of our trip that time, we didn't see him. The February trip, and we're like, oh no. But he had been in Orlando working with his girlfriend. Helping her do something. Guess they were at a festival or some kind of something. Sounds like the girlfriend did body painting, and he would help her out during Fantasy Fest down there. So I guess he would do like sunset celebration and then head directly to there, I guess. Okay. Right, this section's a little light in there. Or maybe it's just the way the pencil smears that were still in there are shining through. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. Tell you, I am feeling the weather moving in. It's kind of funny because, like, over a week ago it was almost 80. And they're like, yeah, we might be seeing some more ice and snow here towards the end of the month. And I'm like, what? It's like, you know what you can do with your ice and snow? I mean, it hasn't even really rained all that much so far this winter, so that's a little concerning for summer. Hopefully we don't get any drought conditions. We were getting real close to it. Towards the end of summer. Around September or so here. But hopefully we start getting a bit more rain here. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're over there. The dog took his spot on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And he laid down to kind of take a nap. And he didn't want to move the old dog out of his spot. I thought he had left, actually. He had gotten down at one point. I think he's feeling the weather too. Like, I don't mind this brush necessarily. Oh, hold on, we still got a bunch of paint in there. No, we still do. Where is this paint still coming from? Maybe it was on the ferrule. Okay, let me see. One of my guys that's a little bit easier. Hold on to. I've been kind of saving these brushes to use with my gouache, but I can get it to do this job relatively better, then that's what we will go with. We'll see if it's still like kind of splotchy. Oh, I dipped that one a little too much. Sometimes when your bristles are dark and you're working with a dark shade of paint, it'd be a little tricky to see how far you've dunked it until it hits the ferrule, and then you're like, ah, crap. And then it just kind of becomes a, well, that just happened. Bit of a scenario. I mean, this one might be covering a little bit better. We'll have to see. If this fly doesn't leave me alone, this is not the fly stream. Okay? It is not your time to shine. I don't even know where you came from, because it's not fly season. And cows were out and mooing today. You could hear them pretty good at the park that we took the dogs to this morning. Bunch of cattle ranches around us. I think a couple people might have goats. Somebody at one point had alpacas. I don't know if they still do, or if those people are still here. So I think they had been selling their, is it alpaca wool? The alpaca fiber as yarn a few days a week, and like a couple of days a week they would open it up for like petting zoo where people could come and pet them. And come out to their farm. It's mostly chicken farms in the area, but there are a few cattle ranches hanging around. I don't believe these are milk cows. I think they are eat cows. So they're always out in these fields. Some of the fields are a little bit more muddy than others. Alright. So this brush isn't doing too bad. Its point's a little thicker than the other brush, though. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but the coverage is a little better. Might be able to just deal with it. All right. feel like we're starting to really get somewhere on this guy. So we're going to have at least one more session, if not a session and a half. Getting this background in. Just judging on how far we've gotten today. Because we're in the move a bit faster section. We still have to get all this intricate mess figured out, but it's probably going to be one full session doing our gel pen. And then I'm going to have to start, so maybe 2.5 more sessions on this altogether, if not 3. Probably 2. We'll see. If we can get the background done, what's remaining, in one more session. Very loud vehicle. Don't know why you need it to be that loud, but okay. They distracted me. But yeah, if we can get the whatever we don't get done in the next half hour cleaned up in one more session, then another session to do our pen work. And it might just be approximately 2 more sessions. I'm being hopeful that we'll be able to get whatever we still have remaining after today in one more session. It probably won't. It'll probably end up being like another session and a half. Like it'll probably be like an extra half session somewhere. But I'm trying to keep myself from starting to rush, because that is what I don't want to do. These things will take as long as they take. And if I start rushing, there's a good chance I'm going to mess something up. And after having come this far, I really don't want to mess something up. That would be a travesty and quite a headache to attempt to fix at this point. But I don't think we've done too bad today. I mean, we got the majority of that other side cleaned up, like in the big section. And then we've popped over to here. I was weird about my paintbrushes and swapped them. These brushes have a nice feel against the canvas. Like they've got a nice drag. They don't sound like there's a little bit of a soft scratch in there, but it's not offensive. To my ear holes. And the sound doesn't feel, I know this sounds crazy, but the sound doesn't feel bad coming up my arm as it's doing its little soft scratchy bit on the canvas. I know it's weird to say how a sound feels coming up your arm, but there's like no skin crawly vibration or anything. I'm hypersensitive to stuff, so maybe I'm the only one that can feel sounds. Like, I don't know, but that's like the only way I can really attempt to describe it. And even then, I feel like I sound crazy trying to explain it that way. I'm excited about our magnets. I'll try to remember to bring the finished ones to the table tomorrow. I don't really have room for the finished ones though. I'm like so afraid I'm gonna spill paint on them. So the needle felted magnets take me about 9.5 hours to make. We don't do it all in one session on stream. I split it into two. Just because I don't want to talk for 9 hours straight. Talking for 4 hours straight can be tough enough. Like when we start doing bonus streams around Christmas gift time, my voice is just like, no. What are you doing? Just no. I think this one might be laying down the background a little bit better. Maybe. Feels a little smoother. Like, these brushes are a little soft, but they've still got a little bit of a snap to them. They go around the corners very well, around the edges. It's not separating like that one brush kept doing. At least not as drastically. Husband has fallen asleep. He stole my pillow. Ended up having to get a purple pillow in like, when did I get that? July, August? And oh my god. It's the only pillow that I've had since I hurt my neck that I didn't have like a week-long headache adjustment period with trying to sleep on it. It was more money than I ever wanted to spend on an individual pillow. Ever. But husband's like, no, you need this. If this is gonna work, then we'll get it. Because there was some other pillows that I was debating that were almost as expensive. There was one where like a notch was kind of cut out of it so your shoulder could get up in there, but then I'm like, how am I gonna pillowcase this? Because normal pillowcases aren't gonna have this notch. And I'm so weird when there's extra fabric touching me from my pillowcases. Like, it feels like it's strangling me. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work from a weird Nisey perspective. So we just ended up getting the purple pillow, and we lucked out because one of the furniture stores about 45 minutes from us sold it. They sold a couple different ones, so we were able to go into the store and they had test models that you could put a cloth over, like a disposable cloth, and try them. Now, granted, the mattresses we were laying on were not the mattress that we had at home. They also sold the purple mattress too. We were kind of like, it feels weird. It is a texture. It is very different texture than a normal mattress. Like, you can feel like the squishy grid at times. But it wasn't bad. It was much better than the lumpy ass foam mattress we have right now. But I'm torn between trying the purple and Big Fig. Because I think I saw some people say that purple was wearing out on them pretty fast because they were heavier. I was like, oh. So I don't know what I want to do about that. But it's going to be a while before we can replace our shitty mattress. Because those purple mattresses are expensive. Unless all mattresses are around that price now, but I have never, ever, 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 ever paid that much for a mattress. And it scares me to even contemplate spending that much for a mattress. But like, some things you do have to invest in, right? I mean, we're not kids that can sleep on the floor anymore. So, trust me, even in the mid-20s, sleeping on a mattress on the floor was not fun. And it's even less fun now. Like, I love the air mattresses, don't get me wrong. I love those. But they just lose air so quickly. Even ones that are rated for more than our weight combined have not had the greatest luck with. So we ended up with one when we stayed with my dad when we were moving him the one time. So we didn't have to get a hotel. But it was so hot in his apartment because he didn't have air conditioning. And then there was some drama, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be here in case the drama starts popping off. So we ended up getting a hotel room after all. Okay. I almost feel like this brush might be moving a little bit faster through this than our red one had been. No, I'm still seeing the weird lines around it, so it might have been from the pencil. Or maybe it's just my brush strokes. Could also be a possibility. So excited to work on the tissue paper project this week. So it's starting to I'm starting to pick up the pace with it a little bit. I'm hoping I have enough Mod Podge to seal it. Because I only have one jar. So I really don't want to run out of that. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully one jar will do it. That stuff's expensive. I guess because it's kind of like a sealer. And a glue in one. And there's different finishes to it. I got a matte one for this, and even the matte is a little shiny, I gotta say. Okay. I can't see all of it, but I mean, it's coming along pretty good. I think our color choice worked out well. And this was done with the Deco Art Americana craft paints. So, I mean, you don't need to get hung up on your supplies. Use what you have access to. Use what's in your budget. Yeah, it might be a little bit easier with the fancy paints. And, you know, stuff that's all the bells and whistles and all that, but I would just concentrate on finding your footing first and playing around and finding what makes you happy before you start throwing a crap ton of money at something. Right? Now, I've been painting for some time, and I started out using these guys. Like, not this brand, but like the craft paint type stuff. I have used some of the artist tubes of paint, like the thicker, you know, the thicker, more traditional tube of paints over in the fine art section where all the canvases and the nice paintbrushes are, like the individual ones and stuff. I don't like them. For a number of reasons. They don't do it for me. They're too thick. I like the flowy paint a bit better, so the craft paint works for me a bit more in that respect, because those do flow a bit better. Number two, they're a lot more expensive, like a lot more expensive. The Americana Deco Art paints run me 99 cents a bottle, where I get them from. Some of these tubes of the artist paint can be minimum $4.99 and up, depending on the colors. And I know some people are like, oh, you only really need 3 colors, just mix them. Well, yeah, okay, if you don't mind mixing. Then you have at that. I'd rather have stuff already pre-mixed for me. Mr. Fly, could you not? You know, go with what makes you happy. I also don't like how shiny most of the tubes of artist paint dry. I know there's matte paint specifically that you can get now. But again, those cost more money. I could just get these guys. Now, some of these colors do need a couple of coats. But I've also had tubed paints that needed a couple of coats. So I'm like, why am I spending? Like, I got caught up in the mindset of, oh, well, if I'm graduating up to this step, I really should get these. But I wasn't happy using those tube paints. Not really. So go with what makes you happy. If you enjoy those tube paints, go at it. Hey, there's more for you now because I'm not buying any. I don't usually get the two paints very often. Now I still have a couple. I didn't get rid of those because when I was reorganizing all of my stuff, I did check on them and they still seemed wet. So I was like, well, I'll keep these if I need like large background or something. Now I do have a tube of black artist paint that I almost went with instead for this background. But I really wanted to use up this last big black bottle of Anita's that I had. So I mean, I spent the money on it, right? Not like it was that much. I think the price tag is still on the bottle. It was $2.99. Like, it wasn't like that much, but $2.99 is even a lot when you're on a tight ass budget. But I mean, you can do some pretty decent things even with the less expensive supplies. So this is just a standard pre-gessoed (11x14) canvas. Sorry, I was listening to see if my neighbor's truck was going to start acting up as he was leaving. He had a heck of a time with that thing earlier. He was trying to pull out of his driveway. I was afraid it was gonna like catch on fire. And this is after it's been in the shop for like 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my. Like, I don't think they knew what they were doing. Or your truck is just screaming uncle. I don't know. It's an older truck. Like, I've seen trucks similar to his driving around town with like antique plates on them, and I'm like, oh boy. It doesn't really look antique. It looks old. But he must have some sort of attachment to this truck for all the money that he's putting into it. All right. Well, we are definitely making quite a bit of progress on our friend here. But we are just about out of time for today. So it's definitely coming along. I'm loving this black in the background. So next Monday, we will be picking back up with where we've left off on this one. So we'll try to finish this section in. I'll still have to get this side, and then there's a spot up here on the corner that I noticed got rubbed off that I'll have to fix. But once we get it all finished in with the black, we will come back in with our white gel pen and start adding in our details. So we'll put the separation of the flower petals in on this, and we'll outline the dragonfly itself. And then we'll evaluate and see if we're going to do the whole thing or not. We probably will, just to keep it kind of, you know, balanced. But I might keep like the extra little doodles to just the dragonfly. We'll see. So tomorrow we will be back and we will be working on our needle felted magnet. following Bob Ross tutorial. We are following season 31. I decided to go all the way to the end, and we're going to work backwards. So we're on season 31, and we're following tutorial number 4. For that, I think it's Tranquility Cove we're in the middle of working on. And then Wednesday, we'll be doing Planet Zoo and working some more on our staff area for our bear area. And I want to get the staff area set up before I start trying to get the monorail and the actual habitats themselves going. But yeah, that's the plan for the rest of the week. So I hope everybody has a good day. If you're gonna get some of this nasty weather over the next couple of days here in the States, be careful. Go get your supplies. Go do a grocery run so you don't have to be out that much in case it gets real icy where you're at. Or snowy. Kind of depends on where you fall on the rain snow line in our area. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Don't forget to follow the socially links. That will take you to the Ko-fi, the Instagram, the Blue Sky, and the YouTube page. The YouTube channel, we just kind of archive what we've done here. There are a few things that pop up over there that we haven't live streamed though. So don't forget to turn your all notifications on over there if you go and give that a follow. Because it defaults to personalized, where you won't get all of the notifications every time something goes up. So, what else did we need to talk about? I think that's about it. And we'll be posting more update photos on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening from the tissue paper project to the Blue Sky account and to the YouTube community tab. I'm trying not to post as much on Instagram. I might take the Instagram link down. They're making it real hard for us nowadays, aren't they? So, I drug my feet joining Instagram, and then I do, and then everything goes to shit. So, what can you do, you know? What can you do? But yeah. So, I will see everybody tomorrow. You guys have a great evening. Take care, stay safe, and until next time.